Good morning and welcome back to Your Financial Independence, where we always try to grow your financial independence. So I gotta say, we have done very, very good here in the market lately. If you look back last week in some of my videos, I was 34,000 or so in the market in this account. I got another 5 figures in another account that I kind of keep private. It's in TD Ameritrade. But as far as Robinhood, we're up about $10,000 this week, which is very, very good. We're at $45,642.10. Today we're up basically 2%. Pretty good. So I do got to congratulate anybody if they started buying their position or was building it up in the $7.94 range that we saw on May 13th. This was when a lot of people were trying to sell their Hyliion stock. You know, there was just it looked like it was just going downhill. Guys, it's hard for a stock to go to zero if they basically have like 10 times more cash and cash equivalents than they do debt. I'm sure it's actually even more than that because they got about, I think, 16 mil or so in debt and about 450 mil on the cash balance sheet. And I do want to point out, so y'all know I ain't paper handing over here and trying to put that money in other stocks. We still have 1,000 shares with $11,000 market value, and total return, we're actually up now, $1,100.41, which is very, very minuscule to how much we're going to get in the future, in my opinion. If you want to, go to my channel, and you can look back at my price prediction video where I basically go in depth looking at revenue, how much their profit they're going to get off of each truck, and then do bullish and bear theses on this company and what the price prediction is going to be. And this is more long-term, just with anything else in my channel, 20, 23, 24, 25 type plays, so way over a year out. So before we get into this video today, let's grow this small channel. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment only if you like this content or you're a big Hyliion fan. We're going to go over some insider selling today that I saw, and then Thomas Healy, his tweet that he put out about Hyliion's going to the moon. A lot of people didn't see it in the background, but I thought it was pretty funny. So this article was written Wednesday, so that was when the stock was trading at its highs of about $10.32. We're basically right there. I think we're at $11 basically now. So the stock has previously closed at $9.65. So specifically, CEO Thomas Healy sold 300,000 shares. Oh my God, like some people are losing their mind about this. Of the company's stock in a transaction dated Wednesday, May 19th. The stock was sold at an average price of $9.33 for a total transaction of about $2.8 million. So following the sale, you got to play the numbers. You can't look at, oh, he sold 300,000 shares. To us, that is a lot of money. But you got to look at it on the bigger scale of things. So following this sale, the CEO now owns basically almost 35 million shares of the company. He sold off 300,000. Very small amount from 35 million. So valued at about $323.5 million that he still owns in the company. So basically his whole entire net worth almost. So the sale was disclosed in a filing with the SEC. So also to go along with that, the vice president, VP, bought 3,000 shares, which is a small amount, of the company's stock in a transaction that dated on May 25th. The share was acquired for an average price of $9.68. But if you put it in bigger picture, it didn't capture the whole screenshot, but he owns about 56,000 shares. So 3,000 shares to him is quite a bit with him only owning that much. So if you've been keeping up with any of the analyst ratings, you'll see that there's been so many investment firms, like either they had a neutral rating and now they're putting on there like a sell rating. All this like drama along with that. In my opinion alone, I think it's just manipulation. They're trying to get the stock price lower because they're buying the stock. If you have a stock in your portfolio, why would you, besides building your position bigger, yeah, I do like it when I buy a stock and it goes lower initially because I'll buy more of the stock. But if you've been holding the stock for a pretty decent bit, why would you want it to go lower unless you realize that you haven't built up how many shares that you want to hold for the long term? something to keep in mind. So some of these investment firms, Goldman Sachs Group downgraded Hyliion from a neutral to sell, and the rating has dropped as the price target for the stock from $19 to $12 that they're seeing now. So Zacks Investment Research is another company. They went from a hold to a sell. And then finally, UBS Group initiated coverage on Hyliion stock in a research note on March 24th. And then they set it at a neutral rating with a $14 price target on the stock. Don't be too surprised if they go to a sell rating or anything like that. And the whole time, this is all playing out whenever Hyliion was like $7.90 something, and now we're basically, I think we might have broken the $11 mark. So these companies, they're not too happy probably. They're not being able to fill out their portfolio as much as they wanted to. So one of the things I just said, whenever you do initially start buying a stock, it is good to see the price drop even more. Because if you're willing to buy a company, this is all like market cap depending, but we'll just go with share price to make it easy. If you're willing to buy a company for $20 and it goes down to $15 or something like that, you should be like doubling how much that you put in that company. Basically like how much it goes down by, because you're getting the company that, as long as it hasn't changed fundamentally, you're getting this company for a very large discount of what you think the future long-term growth is. So, a number of hedge funds and other institutional investors have recently made changes to their position in the business. So, Handelsbachner, I don't know why they make these names so hard on these investment firms and stuff. So, founder AB grew its holding of Hyliion 81.4%. in the first quarter. They now own 3.767 million shares of the company, valued at about $40 million. So BlackRock, they boosted their holdings by 13.2% in the first quarter. BlackRock now owns 1.8 million shares, valued at about $20 million of this company's stock. And now Management LLC, they boosted its holdings by about 12.4% in the first quarter, and they now own about 772,000 shares, or about $8.2 million worth of this stock. And from the biggest change that we have seen yet, Millennium Management LLC boosted its holding on Hyliion 697% in the first quarter. So they 6x'd how much stock they own, or over almost 7x'd how much stock that they own just in this first quarter. My bad, I can barely speak. Just in the first quarter alone. So they now own 648,000 shares of the company's stock, valued at about $7 million. So now to transition back to Hyliion, the CEO Thomas Healy selling 300,000 shares of the company's stock. I think it was like $9.60 something that he had sold at. That's what he got for the company. You might want to say like, oh, you see insider selling, like that is a horrible thing. So I got to ask you the question, if you agree with insider selling, that's a horrible thing. Do you own one specific stock in your portfolio? More than likely, no hate to Wall Street bets, but more than likely you own more than one stock in your portfolio if you're an individual stock picker. So that's basically like, why would you have like 90-something% of your net worth tied up in one stock? It's just a smart move long term to take back some of those earnings that you worked very hard for, founded the company in 2015, and now you can diversify your wealth some. But he still got the majority. I mean, he sold 300-something thousand shares, but he still owns like a boatload, like $323 million worth of shares. So he sold a very small amount. If that number was bigger, like if he sold like 5 million shares, then it's like, that's kind of getting like a lot of shares, Thomas Healy, but he did not. And so we're going to actually go in and show you proof of why insider selling is not that bad. So there are many legitimate reasons for corporate office to buy or sell. This could be a belief that the company is headed in the right direction and wants to put more of their own money into the company's stock. And this could also be received as a large number of shares as part of the compensation package, what Palantir has been doing here recently that's freaking a lot of people out. Or it could be that they want to sell a chunk of their shares to buy a new home or diversify their investments, as we just said. It ain't like Thomas Healy's going out there like Trevor Milton and selling a boatload of shares after he got done hyping the company and then buying like the most valuable home in Utah. So I'm sure most of us know what Amazon is, or Jeff Bezos. I'm sure most of us know those two names, right? That's a phenomenal stock. It's basically guaranteed to, 2-3x your money in the next 5 years if you're investing in that company, as long as nothing like really bad comes out around the company. So you may think like Jeff Bezos, like, oh, he's probably putting all of his money into the stock, even though he recently did step down as CEO and now he's on the board. So Jeff Bezos sold another batch of Amazon stock Friday and Monday. So he cashed out some of his Amazon shares in a selling spree that netted him $5.1 billion after taxes. So he's selling, and this is May 3rd. So this is somewhat recent. So he's selling $5.1 billion after taxes worth of his own stock. So Bezos sold 522,000 Amazon shares, $1.7 billion on Friday and Monday. After taxes, this netted him $1.3 billion. So you can see just selling. And 522,000 shares, or $1.7 billion, is just minuscule to how much he actually owns of the company. It'd be different if he closed out like half of his position. That would be a little bit sketchy. Like, maybe they know some numbers ain't going to be good on the next earnings or something like that. That's one thing you got to watch out for. And then last week, Bezos sold another $4.9 billion worth of Amazon shares in the first stock sale of 2021. This isn't out of the ordinary considering that he sold $10 billion worth of the stock last year. So you can see he's steadily taking profit in the baby that he made ever since, I think it was like 1994. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. I think it was 1994 though. But he's taken profits of the company that he had a large part in growing. So if you didn't notice on my thumbnail, the Thomas Healy dressed up in an astronaut suit, I did steal that from his Twitter page that he had posted Hyliion to the moon. I do want to point out, there was a couple people hitting me up like asking like, what does this even mean? In my opinion, it's just him being funny. He's a funny guy by nature. I mean, you can tell in some of the Q&A videos that we've done about him. And he said in the text below, he was like, you'll know when you see it, or something like that. Basically, if you look at the moon on the top left side, he put like the Hyliion leaf droplet little picture that Hyliion has for its logo on the moon, which is pretty cool. It goes to show like he's got an awesome personality. You want a CEO that's not just 100% focused on like, oh, let's grow the company, doesn't care about anybody, because then you can't like hire people fast enough and they're quitting. So I hope this gave some good context into why Thomas Healy sold and then why the vice president bought some more shares. And then going over the Twitter page and like Thomas Healy putting on Hyliion's going to the moon, that whole thing. I hope this gave a good overview of that. I hope this showed y'all why like insider selling isn't really that bad. Especially, you just got to look at the numbers. The news media always try to spin off, or any kind of these articles that are written, especially if they have short positions on the company, they'll try to spin off Thomas Healy selling 300,000 shares like he only owned 500,000 or something. No, he still owns like $323 million worth of this company. So this still takes up a very, very like 90% of his net worth. So if you like this video, make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment. Throw a comment down there below. I'm always chatting with y'all through there. And I hope y'all have a great day.